This is an excerpt from my novel, Light Doesn't Settle. It's from Soleia's chapter. It's her introductory scene, and she is a 15-year-old girl living in Tijuana, Mexico. I imagine her to look something like this. And right now she is at her mom's funeral. So enjoy. The pastor was a kind man. Beneath the facade of entitlement, he really did believe that he was helping me by making the speech. But he thought that she was better off now, and how could she possibly be? She'd only gotten 43 years. That wasn't enough. And she had been so perfect, so happy. I needed her. Still. This past week had been one of the most painful ones of my life. Everyone who knew her was in shock, and everyone who didn't was showering me in pity. Little did they know they were drowning me. I had a speech prepared that was less depressing than this. I stood up. He did call me, after all. They were staring at me. They were waiting. "Soleia?" the pastor asked. I walked up the stairs in my stuffy, sweltering coat of a dress and ankle-spraining heels. This was so unnecessarily formal. My mother would hate this. No. She wasn't alive to hate it. I almost broke down right there, but I was walking as uniformly as ever. My mother would have wanted a full-on fiesta. She would have had everyone stuff themselves on enchiladas and churros and thrown a gigantic dance party with a live band and everything. She loved, back when she was alive, dance parties. She'd drag me up on stage and sung at the top of her lungs while I awkwardly joined in. I had hated it. I felt sick. My mom wasn't here, and I certainly couldn't have planned the funeral like that, so I was stuck with the traditional, somber Catholic funeral wearing the stuffiest clothing ever. "I'm so sorry for your loss, Soleia. Would you like to say anything? Speak from the heart." The preacher wrapped me in a frankly quite uncomfortable embrace. I knew I was supposed to sob in his arms, be the broken, quiet, grieving girl. I was broken, but not in that way. I took a deep breath. 100 pairs of eyes, and maybe 3 of them cared. Papa, Abuela, and Isabel. The rest of them were faking, pitying. My mother was... I couldn't do it. How could I fit my mother into a minute-long speech? How could I fit her into an hour-long one? How could I ever fully capture her essence in words? Oh God, I swore I wouldn't cry at the funeral, that I wouldn't become the pity of the town, but I couldn't stop the tears now. I hadn't even wanted to even attend the service, let alone give a speech. I couldn't do it. "I'm sorry," I whispered, running out of the building. What sort of person didn't give a speech at their own mother's funeral? I was outside now, barely able to see the pathway through my blurry, burning face and my nausea-filled gut. I walked faster and faster down the pathway lined with brilliant pink dahlia flowers. Faster. Faster. I broke into a run, though from what I wasn't aware. The flowers, perhaps, had been, my mother's favorite flower. She loved the brilliancy of them, the way they fought to reach for the sky. The beauty was a bit comforting. I knew I wasn't supposed to find any happiness at a funeral. But it was a beautiful day. The sky was a brilliant shade of azure, a few clouds protecting the city from blinding brightness. There was a bit of mist forming bubble worlds on the leaves of the flowers. There were 1,000 cases of grief today, and one of beauty. I tried to focus on the beauty. I really did try, but I couldn't. I couldn't imagine my life going on. I'd always known she was going to, but I didn't think it would be so soon. I picked up one of the fallen flowers. I never picked living ones. My father had taught me this when I was a toddler. The flowers were fighting for life much harder than we were. We shouldn't kill another, purer being, even though the universe already had. And it wasn't just me. How many children were curled up on a lawn sobbing over a parent's death right now? How many people sobbing over a loved one's death? Must have been hundreds. I joined them.